Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another original content video. And today, this is a brand new series right here. This is called Pass the Controller. This is a series where I go into deep dives on video games that I have played on this channel. It has to be video games that I played on this channel. It can't be a video game that I've played in the past and probably have a good probably have a strong bond with. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to only speak on games that I have played on this channel. If I haven't played them on this channel, I can't do a deep dive on them until I played it, because I feel like if I do a deep dive on it then I play it, it kind of takes away from the immersion a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be my first deep dive. This is NBA Elite 11. For the longest, I have been supposed to do a review, but the save data got corrupted for the final game that I was supposed to play for this, and I just ended up saying fuck it and moving on, because I couldn't retrieve the save file for my for the gameplay. I made it all the way to the finals. I was at the final game and the save file got corrupted. It is what it is. But anyway, so without further ado, man, this is the first ever episode of Pass the Controller with your boy, Mr. DDG94. I hope you enjoy. Let's get it.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
What if I were to tell you that there was a basketball game that almost released, already printed on disc, shipped to stores, and then got canceled before its launch? That game was NBA Elite 11. And its failure didn't just cancel one game, it changed an entire genre. Changed modern day sports games forever. Because when NBA 11 collapsed in 2010, it handed the crown to 2K, and they never looked back. And honestly, EA never recovered. Today, this is the story about NBA Elite 11. Not just why it failed, why it didn't sell, but what significance it had on the sports genre for video games and where we are today with modern sports games. This game is in my personal opinion, the most pivotal moment in video game history for the sports genre. This is probably the most important video game that never was. So without further ado, let's get right into it. To understand NBA Elite 11, you have to understand that around, I want to say between 2005 to about 2008, EA was kind of like still the upper echelon when it came to sports games. But that switch started to change, because for the years that EA was dominating, 2K was right behind them. And once we got to the 7th generation consoles in video games, it was clear 2K was moving ahead of the pack, while NBA Live started to feel a little bit outdated. The stiff animations, the poor player movement, the AI, the weird AI, the lack of innovation, just overall terrible gameplay led to EA's downfall. while NBA 2K series just kept improving with better presentation, better gameplay, listening to his fan base, not being so heavily invested into graphics and more invested into making their games better. EA needed to do something drastically. The gap between them and 2K was starting to become prevalent around the 2009-2010 era, 10 years of its existence. So instead of releasing NBA Live 11 after a successful release of NBA Live 10, they decided to do something bold and reboot the franchise into NBA Elite 11. In 2010, EA Sports announced a new basketball game called NBA Elite 11. The idea was simple. Instead of continuing with the struggling NBA Live brand, they wanted to branch off and create something new. But in my personal opinion, if I'm being honest here, how can you reboot something that's literally the same thing as it was last year? I'm just saying. I don't know if EA knows how reboots work, but in my personal opinion, reboots come with change. There was no change, no innovation with NBA Elite 11. And in my personal opinion, kind of led to the downfall. This reboot was honestly unnecessary. Nobody really cared for this. A name change wasn't going to change the fact that this game was going to be behind 2K regardless. You have to remember, around this time, 2K had announced that they had Michael Jeffrey Jordan returning to video games. They had him on the cover. They created an entire campaign dedicated to Michael Jordan. I'm talking about commercials, having Michael Jordan do interviews and posting them on their YouTube page and on their websites. You know what I'm saying? Having players replicate his greatest moments and then making him the biggest part of the game. So a reboot from NBA Live wasn't going to work in the slightest, especially when you have Michael Jeffrey Jordan returning to video games. Like, dog, we haven't. Ironically, the last game to ever have Michael Jordan in it was NBA Live 04. That was his last appearance in a video game. So from NBA Live 04 all the way to 2K11, you really think people are going to sit back and say, those games, this reboot and this new name brand, it's making me side with NBA Elite 11 when you have a young Kevin Durant on the cover who really wasn't a household name yet, but his name was out there, versus arguably one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. Yeah, that's not going to work in your favor. And not only, but I will say this though, with the reboot, there was a new control system called ISO motion. This is basically where you use the analog stick for everything, to shoot, to dribble, to lay up. While it was an innovative thought, it was executed poorly. Let's just get that elephant out the room right now. This was probably one of the worst things you could have did. Now, thankfully, EA made it to where you can go into the settings and change it back to just using buttons instead of using the analog stick for everything, which I'm grateful for, because it was terrible. It was just the animations and the responsiveness of the animations didn't match up with what you had to do with the analog stick, and it really created some strange gameplay behavior. So yeah, but speaking of strange gameplay behavior, that wasn't the only bad thing that was ruining the reputation of this game before it came out. Sometime around late August, early September, EA released the NBA Elite 11 demo, and this is where everything went wrong. The demo was filled with bugs. There was a glitch with Luol Deng where he could just pull up and shoot from anywhere. It was a bunch of other bugs such as dribbling, wonking out, shooting the player shooting backwards towards the other rim, but the ball goes directly towards the rim that you're supposed to be shooting it into. It was so many weird glitches, but there was one glitch that became legendary, viral even, that ruined EA's reputation, and that was the Jesus Bynum glitch. It was a glitch where the Los Angeles Lakers center Andrew Bynum suddenly froze in the middle of the court with his arms stretched out in a T pose, as if he was being worked on in development. The internet coined it as Jesus Bynum. The clip went viral. EA was completely embarrassed. The developers were aware of the animation bug and planned to fix it before the release, but the damage was already done. Gamers began mocking it online. Memes were spread across the internet, and the reputation of NBA Elite 11 was already dead. And with that being said, as the game was scheduled to be released for October 2010, but in September, a couple of weeks before the game was set to be released, EA delayed the game. Keyword, delayed the game with quotes. When they claimed they delayed the game to release to have more time to polish the gameplay, it only took a few weeks later for them to make the announcement that they were going to cancel it completely. Not completely. The game was not canceled completely. The mobile version did come out. I believe there was also a PSP Go version that was like slightly out there, but I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. There was a PSP Go version, I believe it was in the mobile version. That I do know about. But other than that though, as far as the console version goes, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions, they did not cease to exist, or so you thought. Around this time, when the game was canceled, the game was already put on disc and was already shipped out to certain retailers, and it was already set to be put on shelves for its release date. But after the cancellation of the game, retailers said EA told retailers to recall and return the games. Now, you know, like I know, a couple of people gonna slide a couple of discs in their pocket and gonna make something happen. You feel me? So you already know what's going on here. So with that being said, a couple of copies of the game actually got out to the public. Some even selling for over $1,000. Now, me personally, I wouldn't buy them because it's an old ass game, and with emulation being a thing these days and it being easy to jailbreak a Xbox 360 and a PS3 these days, you can pretty much get this for the free if you know where to go. Can't really say it on YouTube. Can't really say it on YouTube because they're very strict about that. But if you know, you know. I would just say type in NBA Elite ROMs and you'll find what you're looking for. But there was another big reason for the cancellation, other than the fact that the game wasn't ready to be released, and it was just going to be too much to put in to make it good enough. They were going to have to directly compete with 2K, which game also came out in October of 2010. And EA did not want to go to war with them. They wanted to put their game out first before 2K, so that way they can get a jump on the sales. But having to compete with them directly the same week, they knew they couldn't compete. They just gave in and let 2K take over. Meanwhile, 2K11 went on to receive extremely high review scores, strong sales, and pretty much took all the recognition that EA had built up during this run. Now, let's do a little background history. NBA Live has been around since the 90s. Early to mid 90s. 2K has been around since 1999. EA always had to jump on them until we got to the 7th generation consoles. Then this is when everything starts to change. All that build up, all those games, all that fighting and going back and forth with 2K led to this. So when EA pulled the plug, it was pretty much over. They pretty much tarnished the entire legacy. And it's not just me that's saying that. There were the people that got their hands on the game, you know, from the retailers, you know, sneaking it in. Some journalists already had the game, and let's just say the feedback was not good. The common criticisms were stiff animations, awkward dribbling, unrealistic player physics, strange glitches during gameplay. Some players dunked from absurd distances. Other players did bizarre AI behavior. The control system was just too complicated and unreliable. And it just made the game feel completely broken. So the people that did get their hands on it and actually put reviews out there, just put it out there and just said, this is not a good game. It was looking very bad for NBA Elite 11. This is when NBA 2K took over. While EA was struggling, 2K was thriving. 2K11, massive success. 2K12 ended up winning the Game of the Year award. When you have back-to-back games that have Michael Jordan on the cover, and then you follow that up with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and you celebrate the history of the game of basketball and improve the animations, make the gameplay more deeper, and give a wide variety of things to do for the gamers to play, you're gonna get widely praised by the critics and the fans. 2K11 scored an 89 on Metacritic and sold extremely well. It was at this moment that the battle was officially over. 2K had won. And the biggest factor behind that would have to be Mike Wang. Mike Wang was the biggest factor behind that. Around 2008, Mike Wang left 2K to join EA. He tried to help build the franchise back up. He wanted to make it a competitive market again. He felt like it's not fair. Mike Wang in his heart of hearts said this, and I quote, he said it just wasn't fair for the market to be for just one game. He felt that the market needed to be both games thriving, making each other better. A great gesture, a smart gesture. But you know the problem? EA always seems to get in the way. EA and their ego got in the way, causing creative differences between Mike Wang and them, and which led to Mike Wang leaving EA and returning to 2K. And after that, Mike Wang took the gloves off and said, no more friendly shit. He put out probably one of the best products known as NBA 2K11. And EA lost everything. As far as basketball goes, they lost everything. And the gap was pretty much non-existent at this point. It was over. There was no such thing as a gap no more. It more like a we've been at the finish line, where you at type of situation. There's a reason though why NBA Live never recovered. It was canceled. EA tried to rebuild it from the ground up after it was already solidified by Mike Wang. They felt like, well, we don't need him. We can do it on our own. This is where it gets a little confusing for me, because for one, they went on ahead and decided that they wanted, instead of finding somebody who can actually develop a sports game properly, they just went on ahead and went to their hockey division and asked them to make NBA Elite 11 for them. They got the head designer, the head developer for NHL, their NHL franchise, to go over to the basketball side and help them out. Make it make sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. No wonder NBA Elite 11 did not succeed. So with that being said, NBA Elite 11 is one of the strangest stories in gaming. A reboot that never released, a demo that turned into a viral disaster, a cancellation that reshaped an entire generation of games for the genre. Because when NBA Elite 11 failed, NBA 2K just didn't win the competition. They won the entire market. And EA has been trying to catch up ever since. And this is where I have to dive into why this is so important. I think this is probably the most important part of why we are where we are today with basketball video games or sports, modern day sports video games in general. I think where we are today with the microtransactions, the lackluster developments, always needing a patch to fix bugs that should have been simple bugs that should have been tested before the game release and charge you a full price. The practices and everything that goes on today is totally different from where we were in 2010. This is the most important moment, because if NBA Elite 11 was actually good, think about the Mandela effect. Imagine if Mike Wang was able to able to create the vision that he had for NBA Live. I think video games would be in the best state ever, and Mike Wang would probably be one of the most praised sports video game developers to ever fucking exist. But instead, EA's ego got in the way, forced Mike Wang to leave because of creative differences, and create one of the best basketball games to knock EA completely off the map, just for spite. Now, imagine if he stayed. NBA Live got better. 2K and NBA Live were neck and neck competing with each other. The games got better. You got the best of both worlds. You had two games that you could go to. If one game sucked one year, you could go to the other game the next year. Imagine having that. Everything would be on their P's and Q's because they would be competing for the customer. But instead today, they're no longer competing for the customer. Today, they are pretty much manipulating the customer. They're trying to figure out ways to make you spend more money instead of trying to give you a good game. You already paid for it, but you have to pay more money in order to enjoy it. It takes away from the immersion. It takes away from the joy. It takes away from just clearing your mind and just having fun with a game. That's what a video game is for. It's for to have fun, not to spend money with. But they take our fun and turn it into their game. You give them an inch, they take a mile. Pretty much. And this is why I think video games are where they are now. Because if things went different in 2010, I think that we would probably be in a more better state than where we are now. This isn't just a crazy, strange story in gaming history. This is what led to where we are now. And this deep dive is just to give you an example of where we were then versus how we got to where we are now. Now, with that being said, if I had to give this game a rating, it's not going to be a good one. If anything, I would give this game a solid 1.5 out of 10. Yes, a 1.5. And the 1.5 is me being generous. Okay. I'll just say this. At least it works. That's all I can say about NBA Elite 11. It works. Everything else after that, the animations, the gameplay, the control, the new control scheme, which was just unresponsive and terrible. So many things that were stripped, all the good things that were stripped from NBA Live 10, everything that was stripped from NBA Live 10 is what made this game so terrible. They took all the good from NBA Live 10, stripped it out, and gave us a bare bones game that was not that honestly, it was a purpose why it didn't release. There's a big purpose why it didn't release. Players, you couldn't even sprint. Imagine a loose ball and you can't sprint and all the players are running at the same speed. You could put your speed up to a 99. You still will be running the same speed as the next character. Imagine that, right? This game is not good. There was a reason why it did not come out. But if it did come out, maybe with a couple of patches, I think this game could have been all right. In all right, I mean, it could have probably jumped up to like the 4.5 out of 10. But in the state that it was left in, I have to give it the score that I have to give it, and it's a 1.5 out of 10 for me. NBA Elite 11 is garbage, and I stand on that. Now, if you think any differently, if you've ever played this game and you feel differently, hey, that's you. If you enjoyed this game, you'll better, we all different human beings. We all have different tastes in things. If you enjoy what NBA Elite 11 brought, that's you. But me personally, I have to keep it real. The lack of everything being stripped from the previous game, which was so fucking good, so fucking amazing, to where we got to now with this game. Oh no, solid 1.5 for me. Like I said, it just works. That's all I can say. It works. At least you can get into a game. At least it's not glitching all over the place. There will be some glitches, but at least you can still play a game or two. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at first you'll be intrigued because it's a game that you never got a chance to play because it never came out. You'll be intrigued by it for the first couple of hours, but a couple of hours later, you're gonna be just like, I don't even want to touch this game no more. This is garbage. I'm telling you, the experience just isn't a great. And if you enjoy this game, that is you. You are entitled to your opinion. Leave it down in the comment section below. But for me personally, 1.5 out of 10, straight trash. Point blank, period. But anyways, though, this has been your boy, Mr. DDG94 here. This is the first ever of my new series called Pass the Controller with yours truly, and I will see you all in the next one. Till then, deuces.